Hi, my name is Callie, and I'm going to be doing a film review for my Comm 204 class at ICC. And the movie I'm going to be reviewing is the movie Creed. This film was made in 2015, and I don't think it had a super clear diversity aspect. But what I did get from it was an underdog theme, which I think is still part of diversity because obviously not all of us are always underdogs or have been in that position. So, this movie made me have a lot of different emotions. I think with every underdog story, you feel sympathetic for them because usually, something tragic happens to them and it makes you want the best for them. So in this case, Adonis, which was the main character, he was the son of the fighter Creed. Both of his parents had died at when he was young, and because of this, he wasn't always the best behaving kid. He was kind of in and out of group homes, in and out of juvie, and it was all for fighting. And so, like I had mentioned, his father was one of the greatest boxers ever known. And Adonis wanted to follow in his footsteps and he wanted to box. He was self taught and he wanted to go pro, but since he was self taught, he had to work extra hard to catch up to the pros. So, throughout the movie, I felt sympathy for him, like I had said before, and I wanted him to do well. So I think the movie did a really good job of continuing to make the audience feel sympathetic, because I wasn't just like, oh, I feel sympathetic for him here, but not here. It was throughout the whole movie. I believe the movie was sending a message, and that was that no matter what happens in your life, that if you want something bad enough, you will work hard to get it. Also, I think they sent a message about family. So, as I had mentioned, his parents had died, but Rocky, an ex-boxer who used to compete against Adonis's dad, took Adonis into his home. He trained him and treated him like the son he never had. So, the message I got from this scenario was that you can find family anywhere, not just within your own blood. The conflict in the movie was being able to push yourself to the limit to achieve a goal physically as well as internally. Another conflict that arose was accepting help from others, which was something else I had noticed. Adonis was self taught, like I had said, so he had to go through a brutal amount of training to be able to face the other boxers. He also had a hard time accepting help sometimes, and I think this was due to him being passed off to group homes and having to watch out for himself, so he was just kind of used to it. I think the turning point was when Rocky made Adonis fight himself in the mirror. I think this made Adonis really deal with his internal conflict, which included accepting help from others and accepting that he wasn't on his own anymore. So when in this scene, Rocky placed Adonis in front of a mirror, and he was like, every time he, pointing at himself in the mirror, makes a move, or you make a move, he's making a move right back at you, basically. So he's saying you need to learn how to dodge your own, problems and get through it. So I believe this satisfied all parties because Adonis did what he never thought he could do, which, spoiler alert, what he never thought he could do was last a whole boxing match with the champion boxer of the world, which he did. He lasted all of the rounds, and whenever you watch that fight, you kind of, like I said, you feel sympathetic for him and you want him to win, which he didn't win, but he lasted through the whole round, which, being self-taught compared to someone who has professional trainers, is a huge accomplishment. Also, Rocky was satisfied because he helped Adonis physically and mentally, like I said. So I think he also kind of had a block with him as well. Because at first, Adonis was like, come on, just train me. Like, I promise I'll do anything it takes. And Rocky was like, no, like, I don't want to do that anymore. And then I think he really saw the fight within Adonis, and I think he noticed that within himself he had a block, so he wanted to help himself and Adonis get through that. So I've never really had an underdog situation, which is why I chose this movie, especially one as tragic as Adonis. If both my parents passed away, I don't know what I would do because they are my whole support system. I couldn't imagine having to depend on only yourself, especially at such a young age. I probably would have acted similar. I probably would have been pretty impulsive, just like he was at a young age. So it's hard whenever you don't have someone to tell you right from wrong, or even someone to look up to. I mean, he had his father to look up to, but he wasn't there to, physically talk to him and help him through whatever he was going through. So I'm not sure if I would even have the motivation that Adonis had when it came to wanting to be a great boxer. I think that the fact that he was able to better himself and give himself motivation to do well, even though everything was against him, is amazing. On a scale of 1 to 5, I really like this movie. I think I would give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was entertaining and I thought it was a great story. I just wish that there was maybe like a little bit more, as far as it was kind of just like the typical underdog story, something tragic happens to them, they do something great. There are a few, but the reason why I gave it a 4 out of 5 is because there were quite a few twists that like kept me reeled in. It didn't just bore me, like I said, typical underdog stories. But if it didn't have those twists, I would have given it a lower score. Even though it had a good storyline, it still would have just been like every other movie. I definitely learned from the film, though. Every time I watch an underdog movie, it humbles me and reminds me of what I have. I like the message of not giving up, because sometimes we're so close to giving in that we just need a reminder, just watching a movie as to why we're doing what we're doing. So overall, I really enjoyed this project. I really enjoyed being able to watch a film and review it rather than just the typical, homework assignment. So I hope you liked my review, and if you have any questions or comments, let me know.